Hi, back again. Okay, I just wanted to, I just made two videos speaking about, some people call them God winks, right? Divine interventions, if you will, divine connections, or seeing the divine in ordinary things potentially. But I just thought of another one that was very profound for me, so I thought I'd make a quick video on this. I did mention it in a prior video a little bit more at length, but I'm not going to go into as much detail on this video. But what I'm referring to is difficult experiences when we think we're alone, and then there's evidence that we're not. And just real quickly, I grew up. I spoke about my mom in the prior videos because her experience was pivotal in it. But I grew up in a very faith-filled home. A lot of, watching Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking, Robert Schuller, The Crystal Cathedral, all the power of positive thinking. So I was kind of shaped and molded when I was younger, seeing these shows and speaking of positivity in life, right? So, and my mom was, very connected to God, spoke of God. She'd, when we were out, she would see someone who was down and out, try to help them, pray out loud for God to help them, type of thing. And I've kind of picked up on that. I do say it out loud sometimes, but a lot of times I just internally, pray for people, pray to God for people. So a personal experience I had that proves the connection is, like I mentioned, Robert Schuller, and he had his, The Crystal Cathedral, and The Hour of Power was a weekly show, about God and the Bible and Scripture. And I was molded and shaped by that. Well, I later on in life got married, moved away. I had two of them, but I had a miscarriage at 5 months of two twin boys, which was life-changing for me. Totally changed who I was. That was the purpose of them, I believe. That experience was to lose them at 5 months. It changed me in every way. I'm not the same person, so obviously that was the reason for it. But the reason I bring that up is because I had gone into early labor, obviously, at 5 months. I went to the hospital, and I was in the parking lot, in the hospital. I probably shouldn't even mention it, but I was there in the middle of the night, and there was nobody in the emergency room. So I went in, and then we came out and sat in the car, and like an hour later went in, there's nobody there. So we were there for quite a while until the sun came up, and all of a sudden the workers came in, the staff came in. So they took me in, and that was on a Friday night, okay? And I was in, and, the doctors came and did all this stuff. And a lot of stuff I didn't want them to do, and they did anyway. But anyway, I ended up going into labor. But I mentioned to them, what happened, how I was feeling, and pain in my back, severe pain, and they just, fluffed me off, saying, oh, it's just whatever, no big deal. But it was intense. Like, I knew something was wrong, because it was like, woo-wee, right? So anyway, come to find out, I was in labor, and they ignored it while I was in there. And, they had put a monitor on me, and it didn't show anything, but I knew I was in labor. So by the time a shift had changed, and there was a new shift, and a new nurse came on, and I said to her, I told the other nurse, and I don't know what's going on, but I'm in a lot of pain in my back. Like, something is wrong. This is not normal. This is not right. So she listened to me. The prior one didn't listen to me. So she brought a doctor in, And they did an exam, and of course I was like 5 or 6 centimeters dilated already. So they said, get her into labor and delivery. So here we go into labor and delivery, and they wheel me in. So I was in labor. Technically, I was in labor from Friday night when I went in because it was building. And then all day Saturday night. And I'm telling you this, there's a reason why I'm, laying this all out. So it goes Saturday night into Sunday morning. Well, now I'm in labor and delivery. Now I'm like, this is it, right? Well, this is the magic of it and the miracle of it, which was very profound, was I gave birth. And I was in a labor and delivery, a single room, because obviously they're premature, so they're probably not going to make it or whatever. And so they had me by myself, and there was a TV up on the screen, and I was in there by myself. Everybody disappears because it's a terrible thing happening, right? So everybody disappears. I'm in there by myself, and then I'm like, oh my God, like this is it. Like I could tell. So, I quick buzzed or whatever. The doctor comes in, and the babe, he said push, I'm pretty sure, because it was twin boys. So I pushed, and he came right out, right? The water broke, boom, he came right out. And I looked up, and the reason I spelled that out in detail is because I looked up on the TV, and what was on TV? It was Sunday morning. Robert Schuller, Hour of Power, was on the TV in my delivery room. How does that happen, right? How does that align? How does that divinely align right at the moment that I gave birth? I was in from Friday, overnight, Saturday, and they waited to come into the world right when Robert Schuller was on. Amazing, right? Connected, right? A lot of pain, right? A lot of sadness and grief, right? But that was a message to me that he was with me at that time. So I had the first baby, which I named Brett, and that was at 6 o'clock. And the Hour of Power is on, excuse me, I'm sorry. It was 5 o'clock. I had Brett at 5 o'clock. Oh my God, that's terrible. My point is I had Brett first, and an hour later I had my second baby, which was Brandon. And the show, The Hour of Power, was on from 1 hour to, so they were both born at the beginning of the Hour of Power and the end of the Hour of Power. How about that? And of course they had perished, so they were born, deceased. And they just whisked them away. But my point, and it was many, many, many years of grief, right? Many years of grief and the complexity of it. I could probably write a whole book on that. But and it's 25 years later, so I'm not making light of it, but I'm looking back at it and worked through that whole process and to see the divine connection to that experience. He was letting me know he was there with me in that pain, right? That grief, right? So there was a reason and a purpose for it. I couldn't see it, right? But it was there. It was there, and it's revealed itself to me over time, right? But at the time, I was just in such deep grief, and I knew I saw Robert Schuller on, and I was like, oh my God, like, what are the chances of that? That's all I thought at the time. But through, healing and processing and various other steps on my journey, I see that was a divine moment. He was with me in my pain and my sorrow, right? So anyway, I just wanted to share that because we all have these experiences. Look for them, right? Think and look in your times, your darker times. Maybe it was a helping hand, an unexpected, right? Helping hand, an unexpected gesture of kindness, an unexpected, helpful person that appears in your life, right? And we kind of focus on the painful experience that was bad. We label it bad or negative, whatever we want to label it. And our lives are partly positive experiences and partly difficult challenge. Everybody's life is like that, right? But to look in those times where there was a beam of light, right? Where there was a beam of the divine in the experience. And if you look for it and you listen for it, and even if you listen to other people that share their stories, a lot of times, I find it a lot, they'll say something that shows that the divine was there. They might not recognize it, but then they'll say something that shows that they said, oh, thank God that this, that, or whatever. So he's there, the divine God, universe, they're there in those times. And I believe, at least from my experience, it did really help me in the healing process to know that it was divine. That experience was divine because it changed me, changed who I am today. I wouldn't even be making this video today if that hadn't happened. So I'm hoping that the healing that I went through and the experiences that I had that molded me and shaped me can benefit someone else on there, because we don't see it. Usually we're lost in the grief and the pain or the shock or the trauma or whatever it is, and we can't even find our way out of it, really, or at least I couldn't find my way out of it for quite a while. So to know that there's others out there that have kind of transmuted it, transcended it, and have come out on the other side a better, happier, joyful person who sees the divine in everything, pretty much. So, and if you're not there yet, you're on your way, right? Because I believe those experiences happen to send us on that path and that journey to affect others around us in a positive way. Of course, in the beginning it could be negative because we're in a different emotional experience, right? But we can move through it and see the connectedness and the divine in it, and then transcend it and have it serve us as well as serve others around us for the betterment of everyone. I believe that's why the experiences happen in the first place, is so that it will better us and mold us and shape us, and then elevate and raise others around us so that we all rise up through the gift of the experience. Okay, so anyway, that's just another one that I thought of, but that's all for today. I wish you all peace and love and healing on your journey, okay? See you next time. Bye.